6ix9ine was getting arraigned on new probation violations. This is the third probation violation. This time they're saying out in Florida, somebody was taunting him for snitching and he went and assaulted the guy. That is a violation of his supervised release. Now, here's the thing. Today, he was actually supposed to be sentenced for another probation violation when they raided his home and found residual amounts of cocaine and MDMA. The arraignment for that probation violation didn't happen because now he has this new assault.
To me right now. Say it again.
Boosie tried to hype some people up. Somebody need to get him. Somebody got him. He said, I got they bond and never made they bond.
And mind you, listen to me. For the people that talk about, 6ix9ine, the only reason I'm going to get my get back, even if it give me less. Trust me. The reason for that. Did they pay their bond? They still in jail right now. Maybe one came out, had nothing to do with it. It got probably to do with his pops.
Rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine has officially hit rock bottom, and this could be one of the most shocking downfalls we've ever witnessed in the hip-hop world. The controversial artist is back behind bars, and this time, it looks like he may be there for quite a while. Viewers are asking the big question, why is 6ix9ine back in jail? Well, according to Lawyers for Workers, who was present in court, we now have a full breakdown of exactly what went down and why his freedom has been taken away again. In a stunning twist, Tekashi 6ix9ine has become the first rapper many believe actually regrets cooperating with authorities. Typically, when someone avoids a decades-long prison sentence, you never hear them say, "I wish I hadn't." Most people move on, rebuild their lives, and enjoy their freedom. Just look at Gunna, he's living his best life, performing, and moving forward without looking back. But 6ix9ine's situation is different. Instead of embracing a fresh start, he's acting as if cooperation destroyed him. Reports say he's getting into altercations while on probation, allegedly lashing out at anyone who dares call him a rat. He's fighting against the very label that came with his decision, as if he can rewrite history. Insiders are saying this obsession with proving he's still a street figure is his biggest downfall. Rather than letting go of that image, 6ix9ine is clinging to it, appearing in interviews and podcasts, even making bold threats, despite the fact that he already testified in court years ago. Critics argue this is what's truly ruining his life right now. Instead of facing 20 years and being remembered as a gangster, he's stuck in a strange limbo, resenting the very choice that saved him. And with his recent violations, experts warn he could be facing more prison time in the near future. For 6ix9ine, the high of once being seen as untouchable is long gone, and that desperate chase to reclaim it may cost him everything. New reports suggest that Tekashi 6ix9ine's latest behavior may be linked to troubling discoveries made during a raid on his home. Authorities allegedly found substances that could explain his erratic actions, leaving many questioning his state of mind. At just 20-something years old, he appears to be going through what some are calling a midlife crisis far too early. And fans say this is his lowest point yet. Instead of reinventing himself, 6ix9ine seems stuck chasing an image the new generation has already moved on from. Today's youth are vibing with artists like Destroy Lonely and Playboy Carti, while 6ix9ine is still trying to push the same tough guy persona that no longer resonates. Critics argue his choices are clouded, pointing out the contradiction. He once avoided a 10-year prison sentence by testifying, but now he's allegedly willing to risk life behind bars over personal grudges. Observers say this shows a dangerous lack of logic. He wasn't willing to protect his career by serving time then, but now he's putting everything on the line for retaliation. To many, this looks less like strength and more like self-destruction. The interview that sparked this conversation made things even clearer. In it, 6ix9ine launched into a familiar rant, accusing fans of being hypocrites, insisting he's been treated unfairly, and claiming the industry owes him for cooperating with authorities. But as critics point out, it's been nearly 5 years since his trial, and the public has largely moved on. Instead of adapting, 6ix9ine appears trapped in the past, spiraling deeper into frustration and demanding a level of loyalty that no longer exists. In his latest remarks, Tekashi 6ix9ine attempted to defend himself by pointing out what he sees as double standards in the hip-hop world. He argued that people condemn him for cooperating with authorities, yet overlook other questionable actions by so-called street figures. But critics say his comparisons are completely off base. Commentators argue it doesn't matter whether someone is a street rapper accused of betrayal or one accused of disloyalty in personal relationships. The culture has grown tired of all of it. The backlash isn't about picking sides, it's about rejecting the behavior altogether. And when 6ix9ine tries to argue he's not any worse than the rest, the response has been loud and clear. The public isn't buying it. Many feel his attempts to justify himself only highlight how far his reputation has fallen. And during his latest rant, Tekashi 6ix9ine tried to defend himself by drawing wild comparisons. He asked why others can betray their friends, cheat on tests, or break small rules without facing the same backlash he does for cooperating with authorities. But critics say the argument doesn't hold up. It's a false equivalency that doesn't change the reality of his situation. The truth is, the public has grown tired of hearing excuses. Commentators say it's not even about snitching anymore. In today's industry, plenty of rappers have faced similar accusations and still managed to rebuild their careers. Just look at Gunna. He's thriving, performing, and selling out shows. The bigger issue for 6ix9ine, according to industry insiders, is that his aura has completely faded. Fans no longer see him as exciting, dangerous, or even entertaining. Instead of focusing on the past, many argue the only way forward would be to release impactful new music. But as of now, audiences say the energy that once made him a star is gone, and excuses won't bring it back. This is where the contradictions in Tekashi 6ix9ine's behavior truly stand out. On a recent podcast, the rapper, who famously testified in court, pointed at former associates and detailed their alleged crimes, was caught calling Young Thug a rat for speaking too much during an interrogation. Industry voices were quick to respond, pointing out the clear double standard. If someone with a clean reputation made that claim, it might hold weight. But coming from 6ix9ine, who is widely known for his own testimony, the criticism felt out of place. Observers say it shows a lack of self-awareness and a failure to read the room. To put it in perspective, many argue that Young Thug's situation doesn't compare to 6ix9ine's. In fact, fans insist that Thug remains one of the most respected street figures in hip-hop, while 6ix9ine's credibility has long since collapsed. The contrast between the two only highlights how deeply 6ix9ine's reputation has been damaged, and why his words carry little weight today. Following his comments about Young Thug, many in the hip-hop community expressed disbelief that 6ix9ine would even attempt to take that position. Analysts say this shows just how disconnected he's become from the culture that once embraced him. Instead of rebuilding through music, he continues to make headlines for contradictions and public feuds. And while controversy once fueled his rise, today it only serves as a reminder of how far he has fallen. Critics also note that 6ix9ine seems obsessed with rewriting history. Rather than accepting responsibility for his choices, he continues to point fingers at others as if exposing hypocrisy will somehow repair his image. But industry insiders stress that credibility in hip-hop is earned, not demanded. And right now, his credibility is at an all-time low. The very culture that once made him a star has now turned its back, leaving him scrambling for relevance. Observers say this downward spiral has bigger consequences than just bad press. With repeated legal issues, probation violations, and public outbursts, experts warn 6ix9ine may face more than just fading popularity. He could be staring at real prison time once again. And this time, there may not be a comeback waiting on the other side. Instead of shocking the world with music, he's shocking it with mistakes, and that path rarely ends well. So what we're seeing here is the collapse of an image built on chaos. Tekashi 6ix9ine, once known for dominating headlines with wild antics and chart-topping hits, now finds himself drowning in contradictions, legal trouble, and a reputation he can't seem to shake. His story has become less about music and more about downfall. Insiders point out that 6ix9ine's fixation on proving his toughness only makes his situation worse. Instead of focusing on his music or rebuilding his career, he seems locked in a battle to defend an image that no longer exists. Commentators say this constant need to prove himself not only fuels new conflicts, but also deepens the divide between him and the industry. At the same time, younger fans have already shifted their attention to a new wave of artists, leaving 6ix9ine's aggressive persona feeling outdated. The louder he shouts about loyalty and respect, the more he reminds audiences of why they moved on in the first place. His attempts to revive old controversies no longer generate excitement. They only highlight how disconnected he has become from today's culture. And with every interview, the contradictions become harder to ignore. He criticizes others for actions far smaller than his own, while demanding sympathy for choices that permanently damage damaged his reputation. Industry voices say this cycle has trapped him in a loop. Every time he speaks, he digs the hole deeper. What was once shock value has now turned into fatigue, and it's clear the public's patience has run out. Legal experts warn that 6ix9ine's current trajectory could cost him more than just his career. It could cost him his freedom. With multiple violations already stacking up, prosecutors may have little patience left. Commentators stress that while controversy once worked in his favor, the courtroom is not the place for theatrics. This time, the spotlight could come with serious consequences, and no amount of excuses will erase the record. Meanwhile, industry insiders believe 6ix9ine's downfall is a cautionary tale for artists chasing fame through chaos. What once brought viral attention has now turned into a liability. Instead of dominating charts, he dominates headlines for the wrong reasons. Observers say the lesson is clear. The music industry may forgive many things, but it rarely forgives lost credibility. And for 6ix9ine, that credibility has all but vanished. Fans who once supported 6ix9ine now openly question his every move. Social media reactions show a clear shift. Where he was once defended as an underdog, he is now mocked as a cautionary example. Many argue his downfall isn't about snitching anymore, but about the way he continues to handle himself in public. The more he talks, the more he loses the little respect that might have remained. Observers also highlight the financial impact of his collapse. With fading streams, canceled shows, and sponsors unwilling to attach their names to his brand, his earning power has dropped dramatically. Analysts point out that without music success or public goodwill, his options are narrowing fast. What was once a multi-million-dollar empire built on shock value is now crumbling, and rebuilding it may be close to impossible. Critics now describe 6ix9ine as a shadow of the artist he once was. The rainbow hair, the loud persona, the viral moments, they no longer shock the public the way they once did. Instead, they serve as reminders of a past he can't escape. Industry watchers say that unless he reinvents himself completely, his legacy will be defined not by his music, but by the controversies that consumed him. Even within the rap industry, support for 6ix9ine has all but disappeared. Artists who once collaborated with him now avoid his name entirely, while new talent refuses to associate with the controversy. Commentators say this isolation is perhaps the clearest sign of his fall. Hip-hop thrives on alliances, and without them, an artist is left standing alone. For 6ix9ine, that loneliness is now playing out in real time. Meanwhile, public opinion continues to harden against him. What was once curiosity about his antics has turned into fatigue and dismissal. Fans who used to tune in for chaos are no longer entertained, they're simply moving on. Analysts argue that this shift is irreversible. When the audience decides it's done, no amount of controversy can bring them back. For 6ix9ine, the curtain may have already closed. Even respected voices like Charleston White have weighed in. And while some admire his honesty, many question why he would even sit at the table with 6ix9ine, trying to justify the decision to cooperate with authorities. For critics, this only highlights how far 6ix9ine has fallen. His storyline has grown stale. Every appearance centers around the same talking points: how the streets turned against him, how hip-hop abandoned him, and how others get away with snitching while he is singled out. But analysts say this is nothing new. The public has heard these arguments countless times, and they no longer spark debate. Instead, they reveal an artist unable to move forward, repeating the same defenses as his reputation fades. Commentators stress that at this stage, the only thing keeping his name alive is controversy, not creativity. So, what do you think? Has 6ix9ine finally reached the point where it's time to let go of the past and accept the consequences? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video so you never miss the latest updates.